On this very special 12th night, we have a story about an extra sweet family tradition that goes rotten. This story is called King Cake.
Grandma kicks through the front door carrying the biggest king cake you ever saw. Aunt Miriam's rushing behind her, trying to hold up the far end of it so it doesn't break in two, and my niece, Abby, is hurrying ahead to make space on the shitty hand-me-down dining table I've had since my first apartment. A thing I hauled all the way out here because I still wouldn't be able to afford to get something new, even after inheriting Uncle Rodney's beat-up, vaguely Victorian dump of a house. Coming to Georgia always sparked this odd unrest in me. Like I couldn't turn down the volume on a television blaring from another room. Like there was an ocean of sound waves crashing against my muscles. I thought I'd always lived far away from the noise out in California. But then Uncle Rodney died. And here I am with this house. A gray, crumbling thing with a half-dead vegetable garden and no central air. And the noise. Aunt Miriam and Grandma gently set the king cake down, taking up the entirety of my dining room table, its old legs groaning under the weight of it. The buttery, braided brioche bread is still warm, the cream cheese frosting oozing, the gold and green and purple sprinkled somehow twinkling in the dimness of this house. Why is this thing so big? I direct the question to Abby, but she's 16, so she just shrugs, takes out headphones, and disappears up the stairs. So I ask the source herself, and Grandma says, "Baby, it's always this big. You just never got to be here on the special day. You and your folks had to hurry home after the first of the year." "But we always had king cake before we left," I say, thinking back on the final gathering of the visit before Mom and Dad and I got back on a plane to leave all this behind for another year. "That was just for you," says Aunt Miriam, giving me a shoulder squeeze. My family has always made a big fuss over Epiphany, or as my family calls it, King Cake Day. It's the official end of the Christmas season, and Grandma hides a ceramic baby Jesus inside her annual king cake. The person who finds it gets good luck in the new year, as long as you don't break a tooth on it. That baby Jesus has been passed down for generations, supposedly, which means it has seen the tongues of my great-great-grandfathers and mothers and cousins, and I don't know if that gives me comfort or some other emotion I can't put my finger on. "Don't you worry, sweetheart," says Grandma. "This King Cake Day is a special one, full of surprises." "What do you mean, surprises?" I ask. "What with you coming home and Rodney kicking off? We won't be hiding baby Jesus in the king cake this year," she says. "We got something better." "You sure? I could really use that luck," I say. Abby's voice comes echoing down from the stair railing above us. "They baked Uncle Rod's dusty old ashes into the king cake," she says. "Sacrilege," says Grandma. "I saw her do it," says Abby, overreacted, quivering in fear that was really laughter. "She's a witch, I tell you." Grandma grabs a book from a nearby shelf and heaves it at Abby, who ducks away, laughing. "They did the crucible at her high school this year," says Aunt Miriam. "That girl better learn when to ease off," says Grandma. Aunt Miriam looks around the house with a kind of scrunched up thinking look on her face, and I know she clocks every spot of mold on the walls, every piece of crusty furniture, the layers of dust on the shelves still holding Uncle Rodney's keepsakes and humidity-logged books, one of which is now somewhere on the upstairs landing. I'd only been here a couple weeks, and she knows that, but she can't hold her feelings in. I know, I say. "I'm gonna get the same cancer Uncle Rodney did if I don't scrub this place down immediately." "Honey, you got time," she says. "This house is so loud at night," I say. "I'm exhausted." Her face scrunches differently. Worry. "What kind of sounds are you hearing, baby?" I try to think of how to describe it. I want to say it's just the usual creaking that an old house makes. But even as I say it, I know it's a lie, and so does Aunt Miriam. When I try attaching words to the sound, it just scurries away like a shadow you see out of the corner of your eye. Within the hour, the whole downstairs is filled with extended family and their friends, most of whom I don't know, but now the largeness of the king cake does make sense. I'm usually no good in crowds, especially filled with family strangers, but I can't help feeling like they're all there for me. I get dozens of hugs and slaps on the back and plates of cookies and casserole. For a moment, the noise inside me is drowned out by their voices, and it's a relief. Moving back here had felt so temporary. Just another sad rest stop before my next disappointing destination. But maybe this could be a new start. Aunt Miriam sends me to get Abby so she doesn't miss the speech and the king cake slicing. The upstairs of Uncle Rodney's house, my house, is always dark. No matter how many windows I open up or lamps I turn on, the shadows only seem to gather in more concentrated pockets rather than retreat completely. But the energy from the party now has me thinking of positive solutions to this. A fresh coat of paint, maybe? Sheer curtains, clean rugs. Am I actually looking forward to redecorating this place? Making it mine? Abby is curled into an old red velvet chair in a reading nook just off the main hallway. The sounds of the party echo up to the ceiling but seem to hit a wall of silence at the railing, like we're in a pocket of unnatural quiet. She's got her headphones on and listening intently to something on her personal recorder. I try to get into her line of vision so as not to startle her, but I fail. Grandma wants to do the cake thing, I say. I expect Abby to quip something at me, but her face sticks in a wrinkled concern. You gotta listen to this, she says. I'm almost giddy that she wants to share something with me. I'm so delighted it's almost embarrassing. All those hugs are getting to me. I put the headphones on and she pushes play. A grumbling, gravel-scratched voice fills my ears. That delighted feeling scatters and sinks from my heart to my stomach. What the fuck is that? I say probably too loudly, a mortifying rattle in my voice. I recorded it here, says Abby. I was just messing around, trying to talk to Uncle Rod's ghost or something, but this happened. I keep listening. The voice becomes 2, then 3. They are terrifying, but familiar. When was the last time you saw Uncle Rodney? She asks. It was years ago, maybe at my mom's funeral. She wanted to be buried out here, and I stayed the night on Rodney's couch. I caught him a few times walking down the halls like he was lost, arguing with someone who wasn't there. Who do you think he was talking to? Abby asks. He was just a lonely guy, I say. You just haven't ever felt that kind of lonely, so you wouldn't get it. Oh, and you are the expert, she says. I think about my old studio apartment, the dead-end desk job, the friends who had paired off and moved to the suburbs and got promotions and stopped calling. I think about how I really hadn't left much behind moving back here. Abby is seeing me tear up a little, and she's joined me on the crusty carpet that I definitely need to shampoo. She looks at me with all the seriousness of someone twice her age. My age. I'm just saying, there's something they aren't telling us about this whole king cake day. And Uncle Rodney in this house, I don't know, man. Don't you feel it? The recording is getting louder and louder in the headphones until the voices are filling me up, creating this pressure in my chest. Like the sound itself is squeezing against my bones and skin, like I might pop if I keep listening. Like there's something inside me trying to emerge. I black out. When I come to, I'm standing Back downstairs, in the middle of the party, everyone is quieted down and all are staring at Grandma, who is standing on one of Uncle Rodney's wobbly dining chairs, with Aunt Miriam keeping hold of her hips to steady her. I can see Grandma lift up a slice of the cake and say to everyone to take a bite on the count of 3 and careful about your teeth, but I can't hear it. The sounds and those voices are still filling me up like I'm underwater. I'm trying to make out words, anything to ground me in what's happening, but it just feels like I'm getting pulled further and further under. I hear my name being called through the din. I look up toward the second floor railing and Abby is there staring at me, her worried expression now full on terrified. I see her mouth move in the shape of my name. She's shaking her head, waving at me to come back upstairs. Grandma does the welcome speech to the crowd and her usual King Cake Day blessing. I can't hear any of it, but I can tell a hush falls over the crowd. Reverence, maybe. Or is that anticipation? Terror? Cake is passed out. A slice ends up in my hands. Honey? I can barely hear my grandma's voice. Honey, eat your cake. I shake my head as if trying to throw off the blanket of noise covering me. I lift the cake to my mouth. The blanket of sound starts to fall. I can hear Abby scream at me to stop, but it's already past my teeth. It's already on my tongue. It's already... Ow! Fuck! Something hits my tooth, and 3 sharp points jam into the roof of my mouth. I yelp, and blood starts dribbling over my teeth and my lips and down my chin as I reach inside and yank out the thing that feels like it is actively digging deeper and deeper into me. A tiny gold crown. Its 3 points sharp and jagged and covered in bits of my jaw muscle. A wave of cheering and gasping from party guests crashes over me. Grandma is smiling, still standing on the chair. Aunt Miriam's mouth is hanging open, her eyes crinkled and unblinking and watery, stuck on me. I keep bleeding. The crowd drags me to the middle of the living room. I feel the hands of distant cousins and uncles and aunts and nameless friends and neighbors, hands that had shook mine, hugged me just an hour before. They are still gentle, but filled with a new purpose. The air tastes like iron. Everything sounds like the weight of shadows. Voices vibrating, heavy with apologies and screams and laughs and sighs of relief that it wasn't them. Celebrations thick like clotted blood filling my lungs. I hear Aunt Miriam's voice above the others, pleading with Grandma. We can't let this keep going on. There's no end in it, says Grandma. It's our responsibility. The grumbling voices from Abby's recording are starting to leave my head, slipping out of my pores, and I can taste them, feel the scales of them, the cold, rough hands of their voices. We've been waiting for you, they hiss. Just let us go. We promise to behave. We promise we'll behave. What's happening to him? Says Abby. She's standing above us all at the railing, crying out for anyone at all to answer her. Flashes of memories. Decades. A century ago. Claws, teeth cutting through skin. Everything sizzling with blood. Bodies on pyres. Screams slicing through more bodies. Bones shaped into sharp, grotesque crowns. This house, my house, surging with smoke, tendrils like fingers choking, binding 3 shapeless shadows, pulling them into its walls. The flashes dissipate as I feel Aunt Miriam pulling me to my feet. You have to look at them, baby, she whispers. She moves my chin gently toward the wall above the fireplace and wipes the blood still dripping down my lips. 3 dark splotches of ash hang in the air. Their vaguely human, empty eye sockets stare at the crowd. The shadows wear crowns of bone, glistening with heat, shuddering with static. They're our family, I say. It's not a question. I know. I know who they are. A distant darkness that we are responsible for. Our blood. Our mess to clean up. They did terrible things a long time ago, says Aunt Miriam softly, just to me. We have a new keeper, says Grandma. He will hold you here like Rodney did before him and generations before him. I'm so sorry it's you, says Aunt Miriam, squeezing my hand. The creatures, spirits, whatever you want to call them, hiss and screech at us. Rodney left this house to me, I say to Aunt Miriam. He knew. He knew. The noise of this place is smoothed out. Not gone, only focused. Heavier, but easier to carry her in this shape. But there was a chance, she says. Anyone could have found that crown. Anyone here. But I know better. It's okay, I say to Aunt Miriam. It's not like I had anywhere else to be. I mean it as a joke. She doesn't laugh. Grandma says another blessing, and everyone eats the rest of the king cake. The house shudders and the family cheers as they watch the ghosts claw at their cage. Aunt Miriam shows me the little baby Jesus that is usually reserved for the king cake, for the years when we don't need a new keeper. She places it in my mouth. I can taste the bits of cream cheese frosting that still cling to it. For luck, she says.
This tale ends, but the winter continues. Until next time, be careful where you sink your teeth.